Good morning, everybody. Okay, so we do have Linda Stermer that is going to be sentenced today. We're going to go over a little bit. It starts at 11. So we will go over a little bit for those who may be here that don't know about the case. Like I said, it starts at 11 o'clock, and they're usually pretty smack on with their times. It has been for this case, but let me give some shout outs first. Alicia, good morning. Nana, good morning. Good to see you. Hey, Mitch, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm kind of tossed up with this one. I don't think that there was enough to convict her. Now, this was her second trial that she had, and I just found that there was so much that wasn't proven, too many things that could have happened. But let me share this with you, and we'll kind of go over it a little bit before the live hearing, or not live hearing, live sentencing starts. All right. So, jury finds Linda Stermer guilty of red drumming her husband in 2007. So, this is like 18 years ago. Okay. If you guys have seen my photos, let me just bring that up. This was them back then. And you're not seeing it because why? Because I shared this wrong. Okay, give me a second. Let me share my whole screen. Okay, there we go. So now I can share these. So this was them back then. Why is that not sharing? Let me try something else, you guys. Hang on. Can you tell I'm not very good? There we go. Entire screen. There we go. Now let's see if that works. Let me get up the picture. There we go. You don't know anything about this case? Well, I'm going to let you know about it. I'm going to go through it. It'll take maybe a couple minutes, and you'll understand it. Now, this is her second trial. Now, this is what they look like just before the house fire that prosecutors say she started to red drum her husband. This is Todd, and this is Linda back then. This is her now. Okay. So let's get into this, and I will explain to you what happened. Shai says, I'm just pleased to get to spend the day, at least some of the day, with family. I truly need it. Well, we are family. I got all my family with me. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so here it is. Van Buren County, Michigan. Linda Stermer has been convicted of red drumming her husband Todd in 2007. But on Friday, a jury found the Van Buren County woman guilty on all counts of first-degree premeditated red drum and felony red drum in the course of committing arson to her home. Okay, so let me bring this up. This is from a police dash cam. Now, don't forget, this is from back in 2007. The photos weren't that great. So, passersby called in to 911. This is a very rural area in Michigan. Neighbors seen, I guess, this smoke here and everything. The neighbors aren't really, really close. Like, this is a big farm. She had like something like 30 something horses. They were all fine. But the neighbors all seen this, so they called it in. Okay. Let me show you some more photos. This is the end result of the house. And this was 2 stories on this side. And this was just, I guess, the first floor and the basement area. Now, they're saying that he was back here, that she threw gas on him and then set it on fire, and then she took off out the sliding doors in the back of the house. But to me, I feel like this is the second floor here. This is still the windows. So to start here, I feel it was started more over here, which what you're seeing here is the first floor, and then down here is the basement area. To me, it almost looks like it started in the basement area, because that's where a lot of the black is. This is the walls for the first floor still standing, and this window for the floor above this floor here is still standing. So most of the damage is down in the basement here. This is the first floor, so the floorboards for, or the ceiling for the first floor. So this is the floor for the, I guess you would call it 1, 2, third floor. It kind of looks like it, to me, it started down in here somewhere. He was up on this floor, and this is in the basement, this area. This here is would be this floor here. I think this is the kitchen area and that over here. And this was the living room, the entranceway here, the living room, the stairs going upstairs were here somewhere, and this back part was the living room. And then above that was the bedroom. So usually it's where the most damage is where the fire started. And I feel like the most damage is over here in the basement area, because the whole floor from the first floor is missing here. And you see how black this is down here. And there were several rooms. There was 1, 2, 3 rooms here. So to me, I don't know. I feel it started here. But I'm no fire investigator. Okay, so let's go. The verdict follows a 3-week trial in which neighbors, law enforcement officials, and fire experts weighed in. Todd Stermer's family was in tears while the verdict was read late Friday afternoon as Linda Stermer was led away in handcuffs. On January 7th, 2007, and I watched this whole trial, you guys. It says a 3-week trial, but there was days that they didn't even have trial. It was really weird. But anyway, on January 7th, 2007, Todd Stermer was found on the ground outside their home, badly burned with lacerations to his head. Now, he was found, let's bring this up, he was found right out here in this area. Now, apparently she parked the van in the front. That's where they usually park it. She couldn't get out the driveway. The driveway is like really muddy and stuff like that. Let's see if we can see that other. Here's the long driveway. Apparently this was ice and mud, so she couldn't get out. So she tried to go around the back and come out because all this was ice and mud. So she went around. There was no cell reception, she said. So she drove around the back, which they often did, to drive up this side so she can get onto the driveway here where it starts going downhill, where she could get out, get to either reception or neighbors to call police because they didn't have a home phone. So he was found back here. Now, apparently, when she seen the fire, she was below this first floor. She was in the basement doing laundry, and she tried to come up the stairs, and she was met with fire. So she went back down and out the sliding glass doors below this in the basement, came around, got in the van, and then tried to get around the house to go and get help. That's what she says. And the prosecution is saying she didn't do that. She took off out the front. She jumped in the van. And why they still didn't explain why she would go around the back if she was just trying to get away from the house. To me, it makes a little bit more sense that she tried to get in the van to go get help and went out the bottom here. Because if she came out the front and got in the van, she could have just rolled backwards down that hill, right? But anyway, apparently he was on fire. He came out the other sliding glass doors here and was running out in the backyard, and she didn't see him. It was at night. She didn't see him, and others that came said that they didn't see him laying there either, that it was pitch black, and she ran him over. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know. You'd have to have watched the whole trial, but he later died from thermal injuries and smoke inhalation. So they said in the trial that her running him over he was already deceased by that point. So then it comes to, did she do something to him inside the house? And I don't think they proved that, right? Investigators believed Linda Stermer had hit her husband with their van with his red, later found on the bottom of the vehicle. I don't say words like this. YouTube doesn't like them. They could not determine whether his blunt force injuries were due to being struck by the vehicle or not. A friend who sat throughout the trial called him not only a good man, but a good father. He was positive and he was chipper, and he cared about people, Larry Norris said. Deliberations last for over 7 hours Friday as jurors considered 3 weeks of testimony on forensics, fire investigations, and trouble in the Stermer's home life. Linda Stermer had been previously tried and convicted in 2010 of first-degree redrum and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, she was granted a new trial and released in 2018. So she has been out on bail since 2018 on the basis of misconduct by the prosecutor and ineffective defense headed by current Kalamazoo County Prosecutor Jeff Getting. So, good morning, Carolette. Carol? I keep saying Carolette. It's Carol T. So, if there was misconduct in the first hearing, I haven't really been able to find a lot of information regarding that on here. I don't think in 2007 they were covering trials online like they are now. I'm sure I could go and really search for information regarding it way back then. It's just I haven't really had the time right now. But they're saying that there was prosecutor misconduct by the prosecutor. So I wonder what that was. Excuse me. And then ineffective defense counsel headed by current Kalamazoo County Prosecutor Jeff Getting. So it's like, did her defense counsel just not vigorously defend her? Has anybody else heard of this case? Maybe even back then, any of you guys in Michigan? I know I have a mod in Michigan. She's not in chat right now, though. I think Kate Bell's in Michigan. So I'm wondering what that was all about. At her new trial, the prosecution called witnesses who said Stermer's story about the day of the fatal fire changed over time. Now, I watched this whole trial, and they did bring up what they claim as some of her inconsistencies, and I didn't really find that there was a lot of like life changing inconsistencies, little bits here and there, but after, almost 20 years, what do you remember of it? What don't you? You know what I mean? Her three sons all took the stand to accuse her of telling them to lie to insurance investigators about what happened. So I get it. I did meet myself there, you guys. Um, I get it. Like in the trial, it said that she didn't think that there was insurance any longer on the home, that they were behind in the insurance payments, and she was under the understanding that there was no insurance on the phone on the house because of non-payment. But then she later found out, I guess a few months after the fire, she'd called the insurance for something else. I think it was for maybe even the life insurance for Todd, and found out that there was still insurance on the house. That all she had to do was pay this fee. So she paid the fee and there was insurance on the house. Um, so for her to say, like, okay, you guys gotta lie to them saying, yes, we had working smoke detector. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I did hear some of the things that she told them to lie about. And to me, it didn't change my mind at that point, um, about whether she did it or not. Now, the boys, when she was arrested, the boys were taken in by family members who totally 100% believed that she did it, and kind of put that, um, I don't know, kind of drilled that into their head that they believed it and so should they. But then there was another point where, um, the boys got on the stand and said that anytime they asked her about the fire or about the death of their dad, she lost it on them, even backhanded one. Now, I get it. Like, I want to give this woman the benefit of the doubt. And people react differently. Like, if she didn't do it, and the constant drilling by her own kids on this, did that affect her in a way where she was fed up listening to it? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let me just get this back up. Hang on. Okay. Huh. What's going on? Okay, let me just move this over here for. Okay, it is up. Okay, so let's put it back over here. Okay, so they are in court, but it has not started yet. So let me just get this back up. So they are in court. It just hasn't started yet. They're just all getting into the courtroom. I want to try and get through this so you guys understand a little bit more. Okay, can you guys all hear me? Okay, so the defense suggests there were many possible causes of the fire as Sturmer's home was still under construction. One of her attorneys said he's still proud of the work he did, even though his words, the verdict hurts. So as everybody in the courtroom in this trial are guilty again, um, Todd Stermer's friends and relatives said they were proud to represent his memory. He was well loved, Moore said, and that's more important than that. You know that we were helpful. Okay, so let me stop sharing this so I can bring up the court screen. Okay, so let me bring this up. Okay, here we go. How do I get this off the screen? Do this. Okay, so they're just getting ready. She's going to come in. She's going to be sitting here. Okay, how is it now, Shy? Am I still breaking up or is it okay now? Let me know how it is right now. Better? Okay. Yeah, it's because this was running in the background on that same window. So all good? All good, you guys? All good? Everybody's saying it's better. Okay, great. Perfect. It probably didn't help that I had my speakers on. It's good. It's okay, Alicia. Family first. I always say that. So yeah, like this case was really, I don't know, it was a tough one for me. It really was a tough one. Um, you know, we are scheduled to start. I don't know what the prosecution just thrown through. Let me just turn it down a bit until we get going, and then I will turn it up. I'm not sure, Shy, if they knew about the affair before this happened, like before they took her phone and everything. I was, I could be wrong, but I think that in and out. Now there's Todd's mom that just came in right there. I don't think they found out about the affair. Carol, when they're talking like that, it probably does cut me out. Let me just cut the sound to that until it starts, and that should be better. Once they come in and it starts up, I will put the sound back on. I don't think they found out about her having this affair until after she was arrested and they seized her phone. And apparently he had affairs too. So it was kind of like both of them. It was really weird. Could be my headphones causing it too, you guys. I got my headphones on because my earbuds cut out on me. I don't know why I can't get them working again. Um, but yeah, so her three sons turned on her, but she had a lot of people come forward that were on her side, that stuck up for her, and gave compelling evidence of that she wouldn't have done something like this. And what really got me is when they said she intentionally ran him over when he had gotten out those backsliding doors. And she ran him over when she was trying to get around the back of the house so she could get down the driveway. Um, Other people that showed up said that they didn't see him laying there either. They couldn't see him. So it's very possible that she didn't see him there, that she didn't intentionally run him over. If others showed up on the scene and came around the back there and they were like walking and couldn't see him, it's possible she didn't see him either. Sorry, y'all, I had a coughing fit there, so I muted myself. Now, that is his mom, Todd's mom, the husband of Linda Stermer. Todd Stermer is Linda's husband who died in this fire. There was also, like, there she is there. Oh my God, these allergies, you guys, are through the roof. So I'm so sorry for that. That's why I do mute, so you guys don't have to hear it. States that she was going to get help to escape the fire. Yeah, like, well, apparently she didn't have any cell reception. Now, that's a guy apparently she had an affair with, the guy that just walked in. I think that was him. Mitch says, oh, it's dark. Yeah, we're in for several storms coming through here today, too. It's nasty outside. So that's eerie. She's the only one sitting there. There's no one at the prosecution's table. There's no one at the defense table with her. It's just her. Let's see if there's any sound. Yeah, there's not much yet, you guys. Oh, the allergies this year are through the roof. I got a new computer, you guys, and this computer has GeoForce or something like that, which I should be using that instead of the other card that I guess I'm using that's in the computer. But I just haven't been able to set it up. I got to get my son to come over and set that up for me. And apparently it's 1,000 times better than the video card that I'm using right now. There's two video cards in it. And one's a gaming video card, this GeoForce, and it's supposed to be really good for streaming. So that's the one that I should be using. Alicia says, I feel like I'm on a boat. Oh, so at the bottom here it says Linda Stermer was found guilty of beating her husband, setting him on fire, and running him over with a van. Yeah, Carol, tell me about it. And I'm not, as you could just see from what I just did here, the struggle is real for me. Like at 61 years old, I'm not into learning new technology. Just make it so I can turn it on, get onto my Restream, and pull up videos and record and go live. You know what? I just tell me what buttons. That's it. Make it as simple as possible. It took me a while to even learn how to use Restream because I was with StreamYard for so long. But StreamYard, it was costing me like just under $70 a month. And that was horrible. With Restream, I'm paying like, I think, $22 a month for their service. I got a paid subscription to Restream. Shai says she also stated that the fire started due to Todd's kerosene lamp. Yeah. Or the fire that was going in the fireplace. Carol says, storms here every afternoon, tornado yesterday. Where are you, Carol? What state are you in? I didn't get to even look at it yet, Shai. Something popped up with family last night, so I had to go out and take care of that, and I didn't get home till late. But I will, I promise you. And I'm sure I'm gonna. It comes from you. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. So the guy in the checkered black and white shirt, that's one of the sons. That's one of her daughters that's wiping tears from her eyes. Behind the girl with the long black hair, with the sunglasses on her head, that's her daughter that totally believes her. Now, I believe that's Linda's mother that's walking in. Maybe. I don't know. Doesn't look like they're sitting on the defense side. And that's his mom right there in the black t shirt that's just about to sit down. That's Todd's mother. The guy standing up in the black and white checkered shirt, that's her son. And both sons, I don't see the other son here, but both sons have claimed that they believe that she did it. And that is his wife that is sitting beside him, the son's wife. I don't see the other son there. Oh, you're in Colorado, Carol? Whoa. Oh, yes. Restream is 100 times better than StreamYards. It happened in 2007, and she was found guilty. They're covering their faces, the kids. Found guilty of first-degree premeditated red drum. Excuse me. And then in 2018, she got a new trial. You can go back to the beginning of the video and I explain it. I go through why. Misconduct from the prosecution and ineffective counsel on her part. No, 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 no. She is 60 now. And this was almost 20 years ago, so she would have been 40. And he was 42. She wasn't 60 at the time. This happened in 2007, 18 years ago. So she was 42 and so was he, I guess. They were about the same age back then. So you take 18 years off of 60 and that would bring you to 42. So no, she's 60 now. So she's around my age. I think I'm a year older than her. But I don't look nothing like 60, I'm telling you. I get so many people say you don't even look 40. Willow. Well, put it this way, 4 or 5 years ago, me and my sister, she was 37 at the time, or 38. Anyway, me and her went into a restaurant, and the waitress was there, taking our orders, and I said, "Oh, well, I'll just have some of yours," to my daughter, right? And she says, "Mom, you're not touching mine." And the waitress went, "Oh, you're her mom? I thought you guys were sisters." Well, I was impressed. My daughter, not so much. But she says, "I wouldn't even give you like 35 at the time." So I'm only 35. I wish. I'm 35 with tons of years experience. Like 27 years of experience. Oh shit. No, they must have misprinted it. She would have been 42 at the time because this was 18 years ago. She's 60 now. And she looks every day of 60, but I mean, I guess being incarcerated, but she's been out since 2018. So in 2008, I believe, or 2009 or 2007, I don't know, but way back then, she she went to jail. She was found guilty, so she went to jail, and it was like 10 or 11 years she spent in jail before she got a new hearing, a new trial. And she's been out since 2018. So for the last 7, 8 years, she's been out on bond. And she was just found a month or two ago, found guilty again in her second trial. So she's been back to prison again after being out for 7, 8 years. You spend like 10, 11 years in, you're out for 7, 8, and then you're back in again. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence whether she did this or not. Like, there was a lot of reasonable doubt. There was. And I think this is, um, I got to wait till the lawyer comes in. If this is the lawyer that I think it is, a lot of people hated him, but I really liked him. I really liked him. He's a bald guy, really tall, bald guy. Like, if I needed a lawyer, if I was in the States and I needed a lawyer, I would get him. Like, I liked his style. He was a lot like my style. And that's why a lot of people, um, when I was working in the criminal justice here in Canada, I worked for a lot of prominent lawyers, and I did a lot of bail hearings. And everybody wanted me to do their bail hearing because I was like a, I don't know, like a lion in the courtroom. They would have the lawyers doing the trials because I couldn't do trials, but I was there for a lot of them. But they all wanted me doing their bail hearings. Yep, that's him. This big tall guy right here. That's him. Oh, you can't see my pointer. That's him. I love his style. You might be able to see a little bit of it here. Okay, so I'm going to mute you guys and I'm going to turn this up all the way, and I'm going to mute so you guys can hear everything. But that's the lawyer right there, the bald guy. And good looking to boot. For those wondering, I'm going to put my watermark up at the top, so if people use my video. Yep, that's who I think it is. Sorry, all I just went out and had to flip out on an Amazon driver that just threw, like, I seen him standing at the sidewalk just down from my house because my mom's next door, and he winged it from the sidewalk up onto her porch. I was pissed. I went out there and flipped out on him.
The court calls the case of People versus Linda Stermer, 0916654. Counsel, state your appearances for the record, please.
Susan Zachary for the People, Your Honor.
Morning, Your Honor. Jake Leonard for the People.
Morning, Your Honor. Wolf Mueller for the defendant.
Ross Kelly for the defendant, Your Honor.
Thank you. And ma'am, you are Linda Stermer?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are here today with your attorneys. Have you had a full and complete opportunity to consult with them?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared for your sentencing today?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Counsel, there's no sentence guidelines in this matter due to the conviction offense, but any additions, corrections, or deletions requested in the PSI? Mr. Kelly?
Yes, Your Honor. We have noticed that there is on page 4 of the pre-sentence report, numerical number 2, that on the morning of January the 7th, a few hours prior to the fire, a resident, Linda Stermer, went to Marathon Station, 437 West Street, Joseph Street, Lawrence, and pumped gasoline in a plastic can. Is the testimony that is incorrect, and that we would question and challenge that there is no evidence that gasoline was being pumped into a plastic can.
Thank you. Ms. Ziderbean or Mr. Blair?
Thank you, Your Honor. We talked about this a little bit in chambers. I do think it's appropriate to amend it to say that the gasoline is being pumped into the hatch, the rear hatch of the vehicle. There was no testimony about the particular type of can that was seen at the Marathon Station.
Thank you. Ms. Christianti, I'm thinking of this. Council, let me know if this satisfies the concern. A few hours prior to the fire at her residence, Linda Stermer went to the Marathon Station, 437 West Street, West St. Joseph Street, Lawrence, period. Then this next sentence would say, a witness saw her pump gasoline into the back hatch of the vehicle, period. And then it would state Linda paid for the gasoline at the pump. Do you see that, Ms. Christianti?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does that work for the defense, those modifications and the prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Kelly?
Yes, Your Honor, on page 8, under marriage, the name Chris Failing in reference to the relationship that should be removed from the report.
Any objection to removing the name Chris Failing and the information connected with it from the report?
Your Honor.
Ms. Christianti then will modify under the marriage grid, we'll delete the first block there indicating Chris Failing, former significant other, 64 Coldwater, Michigan, sales manager, Michiana. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Kelly?
Your Honor, just on the page 1 of beginning of the pre-sentence investigation on the evaluation plan, they inadvertently forgot to identify the attorneys, all the attorneys in the representation of Mrs. Stermer.
Okay. Any objection to adding Mr. Kelly and Ms. Neeks to the PSI?
No objection.
So, Ms. Christianti, under evaluation and plan, it's the first paragraph. The last sentence states, defendant has the benefit of retained attorney Wolfgang Mueller. If we could add Mr. Kelly and Ms. Neeks.
Your Honor, not for nothing, but Mueller is M-U-E-L-L-E-R.
M-U. And then change the spelling of Wolfgang's last name, M-U-E-L-E-R. Anything, any other requested changes? That's it?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor,
Oh, I'm sorry.
the first and full name of the other attorneys listed, or just the last name?
Robert Skip Keller.
Rena, R-E-N-A, Nix, N-Y-X.
Ms. Vasquez, please.
Spell Skip.
That's
K-E-L-L-Y.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Any additions, corrections, or deletions sought by the prosecution?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Do we have victims to speak, or victim representatives to speak? I think we'll do that at this time.
Yes, we have several, Your Honor.
Okay. Maggie, is there a Kleenex there, just in case? Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm not sure I can get through this. I'm gonna try. It's very short.
Take your time.
I love and miss Todd every day. He was a wonderful son, brother, and father to his 3 sons. It breaks my heart that he didn't live to see what wonderful young men and fathers his sons have become. He would have loved being a grandfather to his 6 grandchildren. Every time I see them, I see him smiling.
Do you want to sit down, ma'am?
Is it all right if I go on?
Yeah, we can pull up a seat for you. Is that better? Do you want to try to finish what you were
That's all I
That's
have.
it? Okay. Thank you.
Todd was my brother, and I've been really conflicted about whether I wanted to speak today on his behalf or on all our family's behalf. Because nothing I say is really ever going to change. Todd's still going to be gone. Our lives are still never going to feel complete again. The hole of him not being here will never be filled. But not speaking or not sharing some of my outrage and pain over his death, not correcting the image that has been painted of Todd, doesn't seem right either. When Linda was let out of prison in 2018, our whole family was in shock. It was incomprehensible to us. These last 6 years that Linda has been out living her life shook my faith in the law and in justice and in all that is right. It's been so hard having to listen to her lies and having her play the victim in this. And every single time I hear her speak, I just think, who's checking that? Who knows? Who's paying attention to what is real and what is not real? Because she's lied so much that it's hard to keep straight. I think if anyone's learned anything at this point, is that Linda is incapable of telling the truth. So I'd like people to know that my brother, Todd, was not an awful person. He was definitely not the abusive control freak Linda and her lawyers tried to make him out to be. He was a good guy. He had a great sense of humor. He was kind and funny. He cared about his community and his family and his friends. He was always there if you needed him. They say if you want to know what a guy is really like, watch how he treats his mother. There wasn't anything Todd wouldn't do for Mom. He fully intended to build Mom a place on his property when she was older so he could take care of her. And I have no doubt that he would have done that. It was Todd who showed up with his truck on a Saturday when it was pouring rain to help me move. One of those washout pouring rain days that it's just not gonna let up. Had a whole house to move. Todd drove in from Lawrence. I was delighted to find out he was the only one there to help me move. And he just grinned and said, "I hope you're buying lunch." You could count on Todd. He was loyal and protective of those he loved. And he was gifted at making the ordinary fun. He was so creative and imaginative. He loved the holidays. He loved Halloween and Christmas. He made them all special for everyone. But just the everyday times that we spent with Todd were just as fun, just as great. Todd liked the classics. He liked Elvis Presley and Johnny Mathis and Randy Travis. He wasn't afraid to show emotions or cry, but he was one of the toughest people I knew. And it would have broke his heart to know that his death ended his son's childhoods and altered all our lives forever. One of the biggest heartbreaks for me to this day is that it's difficult to talk about Todd without talking about how he died. And there is no question that he suffered an excruciating and painful death. There wasn't one person who was there that day who didn't have a hard time talking about his injuries. I can't help but think about what Todd must have been feeling that day he died. What a Herculean effort it took for him to escape that house, to put out the fire engulfing his body, only to have her deliberately run over him with that van. And still he hung on. He was that tough. He was trying so hard to live. And it absolutely kills me to know that hers was probably the last face he saw in this world. Linda's an evil person. She deserves no one's mercy. She should never have been given another trial or let out of prison to start with. But now that she has been found guilty twice of this crime, I hope she will finally go to prison for the rest of her life, and we can be done with her. She doesn't deserve the hope of ever being free again. And while I'm normally a compassionate person, I have zero forgiveness in my heart for Linda. And I hope when death comes for her, I hope it is as painful and as agonizing as the one you put Todd through. You deserve it. You are an awful human being.
I just have a short statement from myself, and then I also have a statement from my sister Kathy, who cannot be here today, but asked me to read her statement. My statement's simple. This weekend, rest assured, we're going to be celebrating the holiday in Todd's memory. You'll be in prison. My sister Kathy's statement is such. The picture that she's referring to is on the right with her daughter. This picture was taken the last time I and my two children, then ages 4 and 2, saw my brother Todd alive. It was August of 2006. We were having a family dinner with Todd and his 3 boys and some other family members. We had a wonderful time. There was lots of laughter, silliness, which was usual when Todd was around. Todd was always a favorite with the kids, and my 2 kids adored their Uncle Todd. I think that this is because he had such joy of life and remained in touch with his inner child his whole life. I miss my brother. I think of him every day and of all we lost when he was taken from our lives so brutally and so unnecessarily. My life and my children's lives are immensely poor for his loss, as are the lives of all his many friends and family members, but especially his 3 children, his boys. They lost their dad as teenagers and have had to go through the difficult years of early adulthood without him there to help guide them. They have grown into adults that I know their father would be proud of. I see Todd in each one of them, especially in their love and their prioritization for their children. We all lost so much when Todd was taken from us, but we have at least some memories of him to help us sustain us. I feel the worst and the sorriest for his grandchildren, who never knew, nor will they ever get to know, their grandfather, who would have adored them. Every time I am blessed with the chance to spend time with Todd's grandchildren, I can't help but feel sad that he never got a chance to meet them and to get to know him. I know he would have been a daily presence and a positive influence in their lives. Todd's death has left a giant hole in my heart and our family, but knowing that the person responsible for taking his life will spend the rest of her life in prison will help us find some peace and some level of closure. When you take into account all the people in whose lives have been made less by this untimely death, 2 life sentences don't seem enough. It's a beginning and it's a start, but it's not enough. For the past 6 years, we have had to live with the emotional and mental stress and pain that she was out of prison. She never should have been there. But knowing that Todd's killer is going behind bars for the rest of her life will provide us some closure at last. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does that conclude the victim statements? Okay, thank you. Defense, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client before I impose sentence?
Your Honor, I would like to say that no matter what I can say, no matter what's been said, the fact that this court has one duty only under the legislature, and that is to impose the sentence that's been mandated by the Michigan State Legislature. And my client, our client, is here to accept the court's imposition of that sentence, and we will move on from that point on.
Thank you. And Mr. Mueller, nothing?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Stermer, anything you wish to say?
Yes, Your Honor. I came to this court filled with hope. Hope that the questions which had been unanswered for so long would finally be answered. That this would finally be proven to all that the tragedy that took Todd from our lives was an accident and not a crime. Today, while I stand before you, innocent and wrongfully convicted, I am prepared for the battle ahead. My husband, my family, my daughters, friends, and legal team remain confident that this conviction will also be overturned.
Thank you. Ms. Seiderbean or Mr. Blair?
Thank you, Your Honor. This family has waited years for their questions to also be answered. And the questions have been answered, Your Honor, by 2 different juries. We have had 24 people that have now said unanimously that Linda Stermer killed Todd. The questions are answered. I had the pleasure of getting to know this family over the last several years, and it was ups and downs, let me tell you, because they didn't understand. They didn't understand why she was out. They didn't understand why we were going to trial a second time. They didn't understand why these pictures couldn't be up at trial. And they didn't understand why they had to listen to all the defendants' lies about their loved one the entire trial. And then we couldn't say anything. We couldn't say anything. Todd was portrayed in very unfavorable terms through Linda's words. And I promised the family that today was about Todd. That's why these pictures are up here. It's to remember the Todd that is with his children, loving his children, smiling, loving his grandmother, loving his family. That's the Todd that I got to hear about for all of these years that could not be portrayed to this court. It could not be portrayed to the media. And so that's what today is about. It is a celebration of Todd. Now that 2 juries have found her guilty, Your Honor, we understand we're not arguing for any particular sentence, as we know what the sentence is all going to be. But we really just wanted to take this opportunity to be able to celebrate his life. His boys are remarkable. I've spent a lot of time with them. Their pain is deep. Their pain is deep. The wives that I got to meet of the boys are so supportive and loving and strong, but yet they're supporting of broken men. Men who lost a mother and a father, and who are now then in this role of raising their own families, finding their own way in life, and raising their children without the help of their father. And the person they used to call Mom, now they call Linda. I just asked this court to remember in its elocution if it would also talk about Todd and the things that they've heard today, because I think that's what the family would like. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Well, to the family members, first off, I do hope that you have the opportunity for closure, celebrate as much as you can celebrate something like this, but I hope that you do spend this weekend, as you talked about, honoring Todd. And again, hopefully today will bring you some level of closure. Ms. Stermer, you've now had the process that was due to you. You had an extraordinary team of attorneys working on your behalf, not for months, but for years. With ardor, they filed motions and pursued what appeared to be every avenue on your behalf. They brought in experts to undermine and contradict the testimony of the prosecution's experts and to bolster the defense theory of the case. You also had, this time around, a new prosecution team in this trial and in the years leading up to this trial. From this court's perspective, this prosecution was diligent, thorough, and zealous, but they also played by the rules and worked under the mantra of seeking justice, not just a conviction. All this to say that I am confident, Ms. Stermer, that you received a fair trial. Murder is by its nature a monstrous deed, but the one you've committed is even more gruesome than most. You lit your husband on fire and burned him alive. When he made it out of the house and you had a chance to reconsider your actions, you instead doubled down and ran him over with your car. I cannot fathom the suffering he endured in his last moments of life. And I cannot fathom the damage you've inflicted on Todd's family, his mother, his siblings, now your grown children, his grown children. You lured them out of the house using one of your many labyrinths of lies. They went to the mall and movie at your request, thinking you'd be discussing divorce details with your victim. And you didn't even allow them to say their customary goodbye to their father before you murdered him. Now they live with not only the murder of their father at the hands of their mother, but the fact that had you not convinced them to leave, you may not have had your window, or at least on that date, to commit your heinous acts. Their testimony was clearly difficult, but it was compelling. Your sons displayed on the stand the courage and strength of character often associated with those who have endured significant trauma. I use the word sons loosely, as they clearly do not recognize you as their mother anymore. Suffice it to say that if there was ever a list of all of the things parents should do on behalf of their children, murdering the other parent would not be on that list. This court is to balance punishment, protection, deterrence, and rehabilitation where possible. I'm hopeful you will engage in programming when returned to the Department of Corrections, programming which may or may not provide some measure of rehabilitation, but only a sentence of life without the possibility of parole can protect others from you and deter others from committing like conduct. And only a sentence of life without the possibility of parole can properly punish you for the heinous acts you've committed in burning your husband alive and in leaving your children with that imprint forever. The sentence of the court is life without the possibility of parole. Credit is 3,367 days. I'm showing that financials have been, mandatory financials have already been paid, so I won't reorder those. And counsel, the judgment will this time state one first-degree murder conviction with the two alternative theories. Is that satisfactory to counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Peggy, like, which one?
I'll just put first degree and then put under two alternative theories, either felony murder or premeditated.
Thank you.
Does that work? Okay. Ms. Stermer, you have a right to appeal the conviction and sentence. You have a right to ask for a court-appointed attorney to assist you in that appeal if you're financially unable to afford your own. If you do wish to make the request, you need to fill out the paperwork we're getting you now and turn it back into the court within 42 days of today's date. Bond is canceled. Anything else, council?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Definitely.
No? Okay, here's her.
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
So there we go, you guys. Found guilty again, sentenced to life in prison without parole. This is the second time she's been convicted. Like as the judge said, yes, they can appeal it. And I believe that those appeal papers were probably already written up and ready to go last night before they even came into court today. Um, and I do feel she's going to appeal it. She's stating again that she's innocent. She didn't do this. I didn't get to see the first trial, so I can't really compare to from the first trial to this trial. Like, what is different? Was she saying different things? A lot of that didn't get brought up. But if this gets appealed again, I don't know how, because, like I said, that lawyer, now we know his name is Wolfgang Mueller, he was vigorous. Like, she had an awesome defense team, believe it or not. Um, how likely do you guys think that Karen Reed will take the stand for her defense? That's a question that's being asked elsewhere. Um, because now it's the Karen Reed trial. I watch bits and pieces of it that I can. Um, Today, it's a holiday. I had a ton of things that I was supposed to do outside of the house today. I needed to go to Walmart. I needed to do a few things. And apparently, it's a holiday here today and nothing's open. So, which is going to give me some time, free up some time to get some stuff done, I guess, in the house. So, but anyway, she is going to appeal it. I have no doubt. I will be watching for that and keep an eye on my posts. It was formerly called a community tab. It's now called posts on my YouTube page. For those watching on YouTube, watch my posts there, and I will post anything there that I get to come across. If she appeals this, I don't believe, unless there is something in there that the defense can say was a severe misconduct again on the prosecution, I don't see it happening. But funnier things have happened, right? And then if she is granted an appeal, is she going to be granted bail again? We don't know, right? But that's that, you guys. Willow, did she get a second trial? Willow, did she get a second trial? Karen Reed, I think not. Yeah, Karen Reed's on her second trial right now. It's going through right now. And this was also Linda Stermer's second trial that just concluded like 2 months ago. And this was the sentencing for her. So I don't know what's going to happen in the Karen Reed trial, you guys. Like, I found some stuff that looks shady to me on both sides. I'm going to be fair here. I found some shady stuff on both sides, on the defense and the prosecution. So I don't know. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. I never did do a read on it because I didn't know about it until it became popular when just before the ending of her last trial, somebody said, "Have you heard of the Karen Reed? Like, do a read." I said, "I've never heard of it." And I didn't. I never heard of it. Like I said, if I usually watch anything on YouTube, it'll be to cover these cases like I just did today. And a lot of it is like off-grid living and tiny homes and um, redoing old buildings that were ready to be torn down, that were beyond repair, people said, and people buy them and repair them. The Mucky Mansion is one of them that I watch constantly. There's a couple here in Ontario that I watch. But that's generally what I do. I need to get as far away from the criminal aspect of things as possible just to give my mind a rest, right? Hello, the real angel girl. The sentencing just concluded, so it will be available once this live is done. I'm sure it's available now on YouTube. This one got a second trial, K. Mitch, for prosecutor misconduct and ineffective counsel. This time she's not going to be able to claim ineffective counsel because she had a great defense team. Is there something there for prosecutorial misconduct again? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what she files. Carol says, "I love the Mucky Mansion." Yeah, I just got into that. Somebody sent me a link to it. So now I'm binge watching. Like, I'm usually asleep by 9 o'clock at night because I'm up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And last night, I think I was up till like 11:30 at night binge watching the episodes. It's awesome. I love seeing old buildings like that saved. So yeah, so it's stuff like that that I watch, believe it or not. That's what I watch. I don't watch the true crime stuff. I used to even watch, there was two YouTube creators that I used to watch that covered true crime. I don't even watch that anymore because it's just too controversial and a lot of infighting and drama. So I don't watch them no more. Stan is so handsome. Yeah, Stan and his what is that, accordion that he plays? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love the big dog. I love that big dog. And the big dog could get out over that like 5 foot, 5.5 foot fence. He'd climb out over it. So now they've caged him in. I watched that last night. So, but anyway, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go and get back to what you need to do today. Get back to what you were doing before we started covering this. But I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you so, so much. Don't forget, if you join memberships, you are automatically entered into the draw we are having on Wednesday. And it will be a live draw. So you will be able to come and see it live. Okay? See who the winner is. And you'll get your choice of which design that you want. I've got 4 different designs on the shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, whatever. There's 4 different designs. You'll get to pick which design you want and whatnot. So if you're a member, you're automatically entered. So if you haven't become a member yet, click that join button down below the video. If you can't find the join button, look in the descriptions and you'll see a link to memberships. Get your membership there, and I will see you guys all on Wednesday. You guys have a blessed week. I'm going to try and get some reads out this week too also, so keep an eye for them also. Okay? Until next time, you guys, please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye-bye.